Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is Judah for Life Community Live. As always, you praise our Father Yahuwah for another blessed day to bring out this word and its truth. Now, this lesson is going to be on the unknown catacombs, right? Now, most likely I'm going to have to make two parts to this. It's going to be a very deep lesson, right? So, we're going to be coming from this book right here, The Unknown Catacomb, okay? And, a lot of brothers have done this book out and have shown pictures and things like that. But what I'm going to do is, we know that when we look at the pictures, we need visualization, right? But I read the book from front to back, okay? And it goes into details on what happened with in the catacombs, right? And when people bring these information out on these books, particularly this book, they don't tell you what happened in the catacombs. They just show you the pictures and say, they give their commentary, but they don't tell you what's taking place in these catacombs. So, we're going to come from the unknown catacombs, right? And we're going to also come from this book right here, The Art of the Roman Catacombs, right? By George S. Anthnos, right? And right here, the unknown catacombs, right? So, what I want to do is, I want to read something to you real quick. Okay, so there's Daniel and Elijah's name, right? So let's read this part real quick, the preface section, right? This is what this guy said in this book, the author. He says, this book is dedicated to the memory of countless thousands of Christian martyrs whose sacrifice kept our faith alive, and whose images of beliefs scrawled on the walls of their burial chambers in Rome changed my life. So he's saying he's seen these images in the catacombs in Rome, right? So what image is he talking about? Okay, and in the back here, he says here, this is the author right here, Professor Gregory Anthnos, has traveled to Athens, Rome, and throughout the Middle East, studying the art of the early Christian and applying his findings to early Christian practices in the New Testament. He says for nearly 4 decades, he has done extensive research in the archives of the catacombs of Rome. Okay? Let's drop down here. He says here that looking back over 1,500 years of Christian art, it appears the crucifixion of Jesus, Yahushua Mashiach, holds the highest place. He says we haven't looked back far enough. He says, go back to the first 3 centuries after Yahushua, Jesus walked among us. Walk the dark corridors of those subterranean burial chambers of the persecuted Christians. Now remember, I told you that the apostles whom the Mashiach walked with were called niggers. So this man is saying that when he went to when the catacombs of Rome, he saw on the walls black images that changed his life. That's what he's saying. I'm just paraphrasing for him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just paraphrasing for him. So, like I said before, when you go to the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1, it says that in Greek, it says that the ancient Christians were called niggers. Now, before we go into some more information, like I said, it's going to be a long documentary. I want to make 2 parts to this. I came across this YouTube lesson video documentary by a brother by the name of Errol Collins, right? Now let's check this out. I'm going to show you what I did. I took it a step further. You know I was got to go extra with it, Israel. Now check this out. Now let's watch this.
don't know that for certain.
Then you can't believe for certain that Jesus was white.
Just a moment. God is white. Isn't it obvious?
Well, that is obvious, but we don't know if it's obvious that God is white. The images of Jesus that are on prison walls and churches throughout the world are not historically correct, because history teaches us that Jesus was born in a region where the people had color.
The first icons were painted in the 6th century. That's 500 years after Jesus died. So how could the artists have known the color of his hair or the shape of his face?
Josias has found that the face in the icons corresponds to a type of skull not found in Israel. The face of Jesus would have been closer to these Jewish skulls. They were found in Jerusalem and they date to the 1st century.
And if you look at this, notice how this is very long and this is very, very narrow. It's a complete different type.
We used the 1st century skull to get even closer to the face of the Jesus of history.
This certainly doesn't look anything like the images that one associates with him, and I think it's much more likely to be an accurate reflection of the majority of people who would have been around at that time.
Look at these telling images from a Jewish synagogue in Syria. They were painted in the 3rd century, less than 200 years from the time of Jesus. They're the earliest pictures of Jewish people in the world.
The earliest pictures, not Jewish, but Hebrew people.
And fashions back then changed slowly.
The kind of hairstyle that you get, it's short, it's curly, it's...
Now, you see this man, Dr. Mark Goodhart. I emailed him, and I spoke to him. Over the phone. I'm gonna prove it to you.
If you like, Afro in style. And this seems to...
Listen to what he said. Let me go back. Listen to what this man said about their hair.
Look at these telling images from a Jewish synagogue in Syria. They were painted in the 3rd century, less than 200 years from the time of Jesus. They're the earliest pictures of Jewish people in the world, and fashions back then changed slowly.
The kind of hairstyle that you get, it's short, it's curly, it's, if you like, Afro in style.
He said their hair is short, curly, Afro in style.
Afro in style.
Afro in style. Did you hear that?
And this seems to be almost uniform in the way that Jesus depicted there. It's unlikely that Jesus' skin tones were white in the traditional, as you get it in much of the traditional art, as you get it in Hollywood Jesuses. It's more likely had darker skin tones and is much more likely to have looked something like this.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He said their hairstyle was Afro in style. Who do you know have Afros? Negroes. African Americans. Negroes. Now, you saw his name, right? Let me show you I'm not playing around this. This is not a game. This guy's name is Dr. Mark Goodhart, historian on University of Birmingham. Now, I emailed him. This is him right here. This is a couple of days ago. I emailed this man June 25th at 4:43. This is what I emailed him, right? I said, my name is Jonathan Smith from Chicago, Illinois. I'm an African-American Negro, and I attend Chicago State University, and my peers and I, in Religion 101 class, were talking about the biblical characters in the Bible, on what they would have looked like during the 1st through the 3rd century. I said, we watched a documentary on facial analysis on what the biblical people would have looked like during that time of Jesus, Yahushua. And your name came up in the documentary, and you said that Jesus would have had dark skin, and he would have had short, curly, Afro and style hair. Texture. So I said, so when I heard you say that, I came upon the Clarion Dictionary published in 1894 by William Hand, and the definition they have for the word wool is the soft curled hair of sheep and other animals, closely curled hair of Negroes. I said, so by proximity, that would mean that Jesus would be considered a Negro. I said so by proximity. That would mean that that would mean that Jesus would be considered a Negro during his time. Now look at his response. He emailed me back the 26th, 5 days ago. Look what he says, "Hi Jonathan, thank you for the email. These are interesting questions." He says, "I recommend now Joanne Taylor's book, What Did Jesus Look Like?" You better believe I read it. This is what the book is. I highly recommend you get it. Now, you know I like my books on Kindle on book format, right? But I had to go ahead and read them. I'm gonna get it in book format. Okay. Now this is the book he's talking about that he recommended me read. This lady named Joanne Taylor. It's called What Did Jesus Look Like? Joanne E. Taylor or Joan E. Taylor, right? I read it from front to back, and she tears down all that stuff about. They say that Jesus was Serapis, no, like trash and garbage. She tells all that trash down. She even tells you that this is not the Messiah. This is not Jesus. Right here, this false image, right here. This. She said that this is not him. This is not him. She tells you, like, why does he wear this red and blue? She goes into all of that stuff. She goes into all that stuff. Like she debunks, she tells all this stuff down. You know what I'm saying? All of it down. Now, at the end, this is what she tells. This is what she says he looks like. She painted this. No, she didn't paint this, but someone who she's associated with painted this image of what he would have looked like. Right? She goes into his dress, what he dressed, his sandals, the cranial remains. They do it all in this book, man. Okay? Now let me find the image. And this is what the lady drew. And then let me get into the book. Okay? Give me 1 second here. So I'm trying to find this image so I can get into the information. Like I said, I'm about to make a part 2 to this. Okay, and this is the same image. This is the same image that we just saw in that documentary. Okay? But let's keep on going. This is the end of the book. Jesus of Nazareth, painted by Kathy Fisher, 2017. This is what she drew. Look at this. It's not no white boy. It's a black dude. Look what she drew. This is an actually image that she drew of him. That she thinks he would have looked like. You know what I'm saying? So this book is entitled, What Did Jesus Look Like? Joanne E. Taylor. Now, so he emailed, like I said, he emailed me. He said he recommended me that book. So what I did was I took it a step further. And here's it. Now here is his information. Let me see. Okay, so he said, I recommend you now Joanne E. Taylor's book, What Did Jesus Look Like? Right? And here's his information. Let me see. Here's his information right here. Department of Religious Studies, Duke University. Telephone number 919-660-3503. What do you think I did, Israel? Called him up. I called him up. I got it saved. Here it is right here. At 10:12, Monday morning. Area code 919-660-3503. Now, like I said, these people be listening on our conversations. So, as I'm talking to him, he's not saying anything. And towards the end of the conversation, he agreed. I'm not going to say he agreed, but what he did was he didn't say I was right or wrong. And at the end of the conversation, he says, Thank you for bringing up those interesting points. But I have to go to a meeting right now. So you're not going to be able to hear him because he's not saying much. He's just sitting there holding the phone. Listen to me. Now listen to what I say.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Jonathan Smith, calling from Chicago, Illinois. Can I speak to Professor Mark Goodhart? Yes, how you doing? Yes, I just had a peculiar question. I'm a student at Chicago State University, and we were taking a religious one-on-one course pertaining to the New Testament with Jesus and the disciples. And we were watching a documentary on the PBS channel about the first Jewish century people, what they look like. And so happens your documentary came up about they did an interview with you about you showing what the first Jewish people look like during the first and second century, during Jesus' time. And you said that during that time the Jewish people were of dark skin color, and that they had curly hair, like an afro style texture type of hair. And then you said that like over the centuries they became lighter, and he said that something happened between that time frame, between the first century to the third century, and then we get up into the Renaissance era, and then his image has completely changed from being dark skin tone to completely he's being completely Europeanized. And then I was the one that you had emailed, and you had recommended me the book by Joanne Taylor, What Did Jesus Look Like? And I had read that book from front to back. It was an excellent read, and she pretty much covered the topics, the things that I was researching on about the image of Messiah. And there's a book that I have by Robert Easler called
Let me pause real quick. Now, Israel, he's not saying anything, Israel. He's just listening to me talk. The most what he's saying is that he's saying like, okay, yeah, okay. That's all he's saying. So I'm quite sure he can't say a lot because his job would be in jeopardy. But why did he recommend me this woman's book? I emailed him all of that stuff, and he replied to me. He said those are interesting points. Now I recommend you read this book.
Jesus Messiah and John the Baptist. And in that book he talks about Josephus giving a description of what Jesus looked like during his time frame. And he talked about the letter of the tulips and things like that. And he was showing that when Josephus gave his description of Jesus, everything was intact. And then as years went on, Christian copyists got a hold of his documents and did some re-editing to the documentation. And things got changed around, flipped upside down, things like that. And I just wanted to bring that out, and whenever I talk to people about these things pertaining to the Bible, because I'm a Bible believing person, and when I talk about, well, what would Jesus have looked like? If people are professing to believe in Jesus Christ, well, I'm quite sure someone would have known what he had looked like, and in the Catacombs of Rome, they have, like what you brought out in your documentary, they're showing what these people look like. They're dark-skinned people with afro woolly hair. So I happened to stumble upon there is a dictionary, an 1894 dictionary. It's called the Concise Dictionary, and I had looked up the definition of the word wool. And in that definition, it says that word pertains to sheep and other animals and closely curled hair of Negroes. And I found that very intriguing. I said, well, why would they put this definition in here talking about Negroes, about their hair texture? And that's the same text they give about the Messiah in the book of Revelation, and when it talks about in the book of Andrew, when it says that he had lamb's woolly hair. I said to myself, only people I know who have woolly hair are African American people. And by myself being an African American person, so-called African American Negro, I said, well, doesn't that description apply to me? Wouldn't he have dark skin, woolly hair? Dark skin and woolly hair? You know, so when I talk about these things, I don't make it a race issue. It's not about racism. It's about truth. And a lot of people can't handle the truth, you know, and they try to duck and dodge around the facts about his true image, you know, and they go with the Europeanized false image, you know, and just a lot of controversy and mix-up pertaining towards this image, things like that. So, you know, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So, would you say that the things that I've said so far is it accurate? Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Okay, that's it, Israel. So he said he's not at liberty to say yes or no. He can't say it because his job would be in jeopardy. He loses his damn job. Okay, but you just heard what the man just said in the documentary. I go to the extreme, Israel. You have to be willing to lose your life for this doctrine, for this truth, man. I emailed this dude, this white man. This dude right here. I emailed him, Dr. Mark Goodhart. I emailed him. And this dude tells you,
like the images that one associates with him, and I think it's much more likely to be an accurate reflection of the majority of people who would have been.
How many Israelites did you see on this YouTube platform going to the extreme lengths as I'm doing to bring this truth out to get you Negroes to see who you are?
Around at that time.
Look at these telling images from a Jewish synagogue in Syria. They were painted in the 3rd century, less than 200 years from the time of Jesus. They're the earliest pictures of Jewish people in the world, and fashions back then.
The earliest pictures, those are the oldest pictures. These are Negro people.
And changed slowly.
The kind of hairstyle that you get, it's short, it's curly, it's, if you like, Afro in style. Afro in style.
He got caught. It says short, curly, Afro in style. Let's go to the Clarendon Dictionary. Then we're gonna get into the Catacombs of Rome book. I'm about to make a part 2 to this. Clarendon Dictionary. Dictionary, 1894. That man did not say anything. Because he knew what I was saying was true and right. He didn't try to argue me down. He's probably thinking, they say like, man, how this nigga know all this stuff? And why would he recommend me that lady's book? Not knowing I'm going to read it. And everything that lady brought out in that book, what he recommended me to read, he recommended me to read Joanne Taylor's book, What Did Jesus Look Like? He recommended me to read this book, probably thinking I'm not going to read it. I read it, and everything she brought out in her book is everything that I've been saying in my lessons. These white people do their history, man. They know their research. Now let's go to the Clarendon Dictionary, and let's look at the word wool, and let's see what it says, and let's see, is this man lying about what the people look like in that time frame? So I'm about to make a part 2 to this. I'm just setting the premise. I'm setting up the introduction so we can see what we're getting, getting ourselves into. Okay? So let's go to the Clarendon Dictionary. And we're going to go for the definition of the word wool. Right? Okay. All right. Okay, we want the definition of the word wool. One second, Israel. I want you to see this. So you got wool. It says the soft curled hair of sheep and other animals, closely curled hair of Negroes. So you got the soft curled hair of Negroes. What this man just said in this documentary? What these people look like? Dark skin with soft, curly, woolly hair, Afro in style, texture hair. These are niggas, Negroes. I got my hair in braids right now. If I took these braids out and I picked it out, my hair would be an afro. What are you people not understanding?
Look at these telling images from a Jewish synagogue in Syria. They were painted in the 3rd century, less than 200 years from the time of Jesus. They're the earliest pictures of Jewish people in the world.
The earliest pictures.
Back then changed slowly.
And then say they started changing slowly. Now let's go back here to the sacred N-word. The sacred N-word.com. And then I'm gonna make a part 2 to this. Then in part 2 we're gonna go into the books, into the information. Alright? Because I got a lot of reading to do. I'm just in the introduction right now. I'm giving you a heads up warning. This is part 1 to the unknown catacombs. And then in part 2 we're gonna go into the books. And we're going to look at the images, and we're going to read the information on what's going on in these catacombs. So you got the sacred N-word.com, right? You got the sacred N-word.com. Okay? What happened? Somebody took the site down? Wait a minute. They done did something to this dude's site. Google. The sacred N-word. What happened to this dude's site? They done messed up this dude's site. Oh, they bogus, man. They is bogus. You see that? He took his site down, or they took his site down. They done messed up. Anyway, it's on my lesson. You can go back and watch it. I use the second N-word site. I'm glad I did that. I see now that his site is not up no more. But let's go back here and let's do it again.
The kind of hairstyle that you get, it's short, it's curly, it's, if you like, Afro in style. And
He said it's short and curly. What did you say? Soft curled hair of sheep and other animals. Closely curled hair of Negroes. Let's go back here to Acts 13:1. The Messiah's apostles, his buddies, his homies were Negroes. So the ancient Christians, the ancient Nazarites, the Nazarenes were Negroes. So if you are a truthful, faithful, so-called follower of Christ, that means you are followers of black men and black women. Other than that, if you say that you are a follower of the Mashiach and you got that false image up, that means you are a liar, you a deceiver, and you don't know what the truth is. Acts 13:1. I told you, Israel, I'm not playing with these people. 13:1. Now in the church at Antioch there were prophets and teachers. Barnabas, Simeon, called nigger. They were called niggers. Meaning they were dark-skinned people. So we going to the Bible Hub, right? And we want to go to the Strong's Concordance, okay? All right, we're in the Strong. We go to the Strong's. Okay. And we're going to go to the Greek. We want to see what this word is, right? Who's he hanging out with? Even in her book, what does Jesus look like? She tell what Paul looks like. Same thing what I said. He was a bald-headed, Paul was a bald-headed, bow-legged man. Same thing I said in my lessons. It's the same thing she said in that book. It says, Barnabas of Chaldee origin. Who did I say the Chaldeans were? Didn't Abraham come from the Ur, the Chaldees? The Sumerians were black people? Son of Nabas, Barnabas, an Israelite? An Israelite? Simeon, from the same as Simeon, the same name of 5 Israelites? They were called nigger. Name, it says nigger, a proper name of Latin origin, black. Nigger, a Christian. The ancient Christians were niggers, were black folks. Afro-American Negroes, they were Negroes. Christians, a nigger, a Christian. Nigger, of Latin origin, dark in color. The apostles, the disciples, and the Mashiach were Negroes. My God. He just said it. This white man just said it. I didn't say it. He said it. Call him up. Do what I did. Call him up. You think I'm playing? Call him up. Actually, speak to a dude named Jonathan Smith a couple of days ago from Chicago, Illinois. He gonna say, yeah, he talked to me. And I questioned him. I drilled him on this stuff. And the only thing he can say was, thanks for calling me up. I gotta go to a meeting right now. Bye-bye. Why did he extend the conversation? Why did he indulge in conversation with me? Because he knows that this black dude just called his phone. He was shocked. He wasn't expecting he wasn't expecting that conversation that morning. I'm quite sure that by me speaking to him that morning, and he had to go to a meeting after he spoke with the phone, he probably couldn't even concentrate on the meeting. Like, man, what this black dude calling my phone for asking about the people of the Bible looking like Negroes? I don't know, just speculating in his brain. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? But listen to him again. This dude is not dead, he's alive. I just spoke with him a couple days ago.
This seems to be almost...
Look at these telling images from a Jewish synagogue in Syria. They were painted in the 3rd century, less than 200 years from the time of Jesus. They're the earliest pictures of Jewish people in the world.
The earliest pictures. So that means that Leonardo da Vinci junk, this stuff, this white image of Jesus, of Mashiach, Yahusha. Who the hell is this? Who is this? This dude ain't got no woolly hair. Afro and Texas type hair, dark skin. That's a white man. Who the hell is that? Who is this? Who is this man? Caesar Borgia? Wait till I bring out my other lesson on that, since we know that the ancient Christians were niggers, were Negroes, we're gonna see what type of confrontation they were up against during the Roman time. Oh, wait till I bring that out, Israel. You're gonna be in for a shock. Wait till I bring that lesson out. Wait till I bring it out. I'm not playing Israel. It's not no game. not a game. I'm going to show you in part two. In part two, we're going to this book right here, The Art of the Catacombs of Rome. I'm going to show you why did Constantine do what he did. Because all we know is, oh, Constantine, 325 AD, blah, 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 this, that, and third. If you read this book, The Art of the Roman Catacombs, you will see why did Constantine do that, do what he did. Constantine knew that the Mashiach was a black man, and he couldn't believe that this black man rose from the dead. Once he knew that this black man rose from the dead, I'm just paraphrasing in the book. If you read it for yourself, you will agree with what I'm saying. Once he found this black man rose from the dead, he knew that he was God in flesh. So then it says that he said he had a dream, a vision of. He said he had a dream and a vision of a cross. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't doing that for religious purpose. He was doing that because of his faith. Something had triggered him for him to do that. It was something that he heard or seen and converted him to be a follower of Christ. A follower of these black men and women who were Negroes, who were niggers. There were no damn white people. The ancient Christians, the ancient Christians, the ancient Nazarenes were not white folks. They were Negroes. They were niggers. Okay? They were Negroes. I'm not making this stuff up.
Fashions back then changed slowly.
The kind of hairstyle that you get, it's short, it's curly, it's, if you like, Afro in style, and this seems to be almost uniform in the way that Jesus depicted there. It's unlikely that Jesus' skin tones were white in the traditional, as you get it in much of the traditional art, as you get it in the Hollywood Jesuses. It's more likely had darker skin tones, and is much more likely to have looked something like this. Don't black people look like that? Negroes? Not no Native American Indians, not no damn Hispanics, Latin Americans. No, we're talking about African American Negroes.
You have to understand the initial images of Christ in the Madonna, in countries like Poland, Spain, Italy, these are white Caucasian countries, worship a black Madonna and a black Jesus. These images were altered and changed.
I think you are suggesting that there's some pretty good historical anthropological evidence suggesting that Jesus just...
And that's what I do in my lessons, Israel. I use scientific, anthropological, biblical, all of that stuff to prove what I'm saying is true. And I call these people up and I ask them. And they're not expecting for a person like us to call them and ask them up in these questions.
Probably was black. Am I correctly stating?
And probably was black. That nigga was black.
That's right.
Are you there, caller?
Yes, Phil. I just want to say that when God said he was going to make man in his image, he did not mean white, green, or any color. It was supposed to be spirit.
It's all fine when you white folks say he's white, he's a white man, but we come out with proof and evidence, this black man, oh, you being a racist. No, I'm not racist. I'm pointing out what truth is saying, what the truth is. And you can't handle the truth. The Most High doesn't dwell in churches, he dwells in you. He says the kingdom of God is in you, is in you. So if the Most High dwells within you, and how you present your information and you bring it out, it's gonna eat those lies up.
Truly like him.
Very good.
And that's what is important.
Yes, well.
No matter if Jesus is black, white, green, red, I believe in the supreme being, and I think that's what we all have to look at.
Right.
That there's a supreme being.
But what color has Jesus been throughout your childhood?
White, and I think that's ridiculous.
What color was his mother?
You know, who knows?
That's a shame. Who knows? Damn, it's a shame.
And I don't think anyone...
Sad, man. Sad. That's sad, man. I would debate anybody. If you want to debate me, if you want to debate me, bring it on. So I can prove to you that my God, my Creator, is made. He made me in His image and likeness. Not this white man. Not this. So when I wake up in the morning, and look in the mirror, I'm looking at my Savior. He's a reflection of me. We're a reflection of Him. Because He made us in His image and likeness. He dug in the dirt with His own two hands, formed man in His image, and breathed into him the breath of life. So He made natural, then the spirit. You can't, because a lot of people say, oh, it's spiritual. These white folks say, oh, it's spiritual. It's a spiritual aspect of it, not natural. No, you can't. No, you can't have it one way. You gotta have both. What came first? He dug in the dirt, formed man. That's the natural, isn't it? He's molding man, and then He breathed into man His ruach, His spirit, the breath of life. That's why we live, because of Him. You fools, you don't know Him. You don't know Him. You don't know Him. You don't. I'm being real and honest, man. He breathed into man, and that's how man became a living vessel. He formed man, the natural first, then the spiritual part. Okay, well, I mean, what does the spirit look like? What color does it have? You got to have something first. I think you have to have something to go along with it, to match it. To match it. So who the hell is this white man? It says no one ever says his color doesn't matter. The argument is only brought up when somebody tried to say he was black. Isn't that a double standard? That's what them white folks say. Oh, his color doesn't matter. He just died for all of us. Come on, man. That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out, man. That's a cop-out. That is a cop-out. That's a cop-out, man. The biblical Israelites, we are their descendants, man. The Bible is a history book. It's a history book. Go back and watch my lesson, The Forgotten Books of Adam and Eve. Go back and watch those lessons. And the Most High tells you out of His own mouth, man, He's going to come down and take on flesh. Okay? So like I said, I'm going to make a part 2 to this. This is part 1, The Unknown Catacombs, part 1. Stay tuned, I'm about to make a part 2. We're about to go into these books. We're about to go into these books. There's Daniel in the lion's den. Doesn't he have... Let me get my phone out so you can see this. Turn my flashlight on. I want you to be able to see this. Doesn't he have woolly hair? Curly woolly hair? He's in a lion's den naked? Okay? He's in a lion's den naked. Right? Let me see something real quick. Because I even took it a step further. I put on my phone a magnifying glass so you can see the images up close and personal. Look at that. What color lions? Black, brown. It's a Negro. Curly hair. Okay? So I'm going all out. You got to be set in the defense for this stuff, man. Can't be no wussies. No. But like I said, so let me put that on right there. Okay? And I'm about to make a part 2 to this, but I'm showing you. So I'm emailing these people. It's not a game. We must tell these people who our Heavenly Father is. He's not a God, he's our Heavenly Father. He has a name. His son has a name. His children have names. That's been whitewashed out. That's been erased from history. That's been erased out of the scriptures. What is the root word of the scriptures? Script. What is the script? It's like you're writing a play. We all playing our parts. He's the author of it. He's not the author of confusion. He wrote the script out. We playing our parts. And the enemy, the adversary, has inserted himself into the script. And got a hold of the script. And now he's editing stuff, changing stuff around, and he had to see people on all levels with history. So, let's go back here once again. I'm about to come back and make a part 2. Unknown Catacombs. The ancient Christians were called niggers. Dark in color. You know what I'm saying? Negroes. They were Negroes. Negroes. Showing you, man. Look. My God. Hebrews for sale. They were Hebrews. This is you. These are your ancestors. I'm going to show you my next lesson in the books how they desecrated our ancestors' bodies. What they were doing to them. Oh, man. Wait. Oh, my God. Hebrews for sale. Hebrews. I went over this in my last lesson with the Ola Uda. Right? This is a corruption. It's not Hebrews, it's Hebrews. For sale from the Windward Coast. Hebrews, eyebrows, Negroes. Eyeballs for sale. Excuse me. E-bowls for sale. For sale. For sale. This is it. Ebos, Negroes, Hebrews. Find Hebrews from sale for the Windward Coast. Hebrews, Negroes. This is you. This is Daniel is your ancestor. Daniel is your ancestor. This is your ancestor. Why can't you believe that this is probably what he looked like? You believe when somebody puts this image up, you believe this is, let's just say, let's put in Abraham Lincoln. Let's put in Abraham Lincoln. If you were born in the 1980s like I am, and they say this is a picture of Abraham Lincoln, but you had never met this man in your life, you had never met this man, but you believe this is him. You know, how do you know this is Abraham Lincoln? How do you know? How do you know this is Abraham Lincoln? You never met him, but you believe it. You believe it. You believe this Abraham Lincoln, the president, right? You believe what the white man says. You believe him. Oh, this is Abraham Lincoln. How do you know that? How do I know? I never met that man. I don't know that. How do I know that's true? When we say that, oh, this is Daniel. This is what they drew him as. This is what they say he looked like. Dark skin, woolly hair. Oh, that's not Daniel. That's not him. How do you know? How do you know? Are you that ignorant to not think that these people know how to draw back then? What these people look like? If these are stories being told about their ancestors, wouldn't somebody know what they look like? That's just like in your family today. If I asked you to draw me a picture of your mama, or your brother, your sister, your brother, and you drew a picture of him, and I say, oh, that's not him. That ain't what your brother look like. You looking like I'm crazy. Like, what? How you gonna tell me what my own blood don't look like? Are you crazy? And that's the same thing. Why can't you believe that this is them? Why can't you believe that's what Daniel looked like? If they drew this stuff up, if they are drawing these pictures of these people, and you can't believe that this is what they look like, but you believe in this present day and age, when they say, oh, this is Abraham Lincoln, you believe that. He says, oh, that's Abraham Lincoln, and who else? Let's type in top presidents. Top presidents. Top presidents. Images. Okay, let me see. Let me go to Google. I don't like this Bing garbage. Like I said, I'm about to come back and make a part 2. So we're gonna type in top presidents, right? And here you go. You got Franklin D. Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Lyndon B. Johnson, Woodrow Wilson, Harry S. Truman, Dwight Eisenhower. Okay, so you get all these people. You got John F. Kennedy over there. You got Ronald Reagan. You know what I'm saying? You believe these people existed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see John F. Kennedy on TV. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to President Lincoln. They didn't have TVs back then. That's what they say, but I'm going to prove that wrong. What the Nazis had, they were the first one to invent the TV. I'm going to show you that. But you put a picture of this dude, Abraham Lincoln, and all these other presidents. All these other presidents. You believe those are the real. That's the real deal. But when it comes down to our biblical ancestors, you can't believe that. How the hell do I know it's still Teddy Roosevelt? How do I know? I never met that man before. Who is that? I don't know who this is. Who is this? Is it because we read about him, we supposed to accept this as true? How do we know this man existed? Who is this man? Who is him? Okay, they got, so what? They got a bibliography on his life. They got what he did in his lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what? Do I got to accept this man? Do I got to accept the fact that this man actually existed? Why can't I deny his existence? You deny my biblical ancestors' existence, so why can I deny their existence? Oh, that dude didn't live. You making this stuff up. Where's this documentation at? Where's this evidence? Oh, it's documented. You can go online and read it. Well, guess what? Our biblical ancestors left records 2,000 some years ago about what they looked like and what they were involved into. But you can't believe that. Man, this is sad, man. This is ridiculous. I'm showing and proving to you that why can it be possible that this is what Daniel looked like? This is Daniel's true image. Why can't you believe that? Why can't you believe it? Because what? Why? Because I'm not a scholar. I don't have the title of a so-called scholar. But when a white man comes along and he show his credentials and say, "Oh, this is not Daniel. It's not what Daniel looked like." Because you still stuck up on titles, trying to make a name for yourself. Trying to make a name. What college, seminary school or theological seminary school did Moses go to get his knowledge? Or Joshua, or Daniel, or Samson, or any other, or Isaiah, or Jeremiah, or any other prophets? What school that went to? What's the name of their universities? Huh? You can believe anything. But do you have facts and evidence to prove what facts and evidence to prove what you're saying is true? Now, so let's go back here. Man, so I emailed this dude, man, and I talked to him over the phone. Where is it at? I emailed this man. This dude right here.
Look at these.
The images that he's looking at, is what's in this book right here, and what's in this book right here, The Unknown Catacomb. Okay? That's what he's looking at. And in this lady's book right here. In this book right here, what did Jesus look like? You know what I'm saying? And she tears all of that stuff down with Serapis, Mithras, all of that stuff. She tears all of that stuff down. With the tunic and the letter of the toothless and the stride of Turin, she tears all of that stuff down, man. All of it. It's lies. And this is a white lady. This is a white lady doing this stuff. And she's telling you, let me bring my light up. She's telling you that this white image, she goes through all of this stuff. This, she tells this is garbage. This is false and phony. She tell you where it comes from. Look at this. The hand possession, as it is in Leonardo Salvator Mundi, one almost has a side and frontal view of a similar man, though the Utrecht painting has Jesus with very pale skin as a Flemish man. Meaning Flemish mean what? Feminine? This is like a woman. Who the hell is this? She goes to that Leonardo da Vinci junk. She tears that trash down. This false phony image, European eyes, garbage. And this is a white lady saying this. The European Jesus, the letter of the toothless. I said the same damn thing in my lesson, the Messiah Jesus of John the Baptist. She's saying the same thing I'm saying. The same thing. A journey back to the beginning. You know what I'm saying? She's going through cranial archaeological remains. She's going into depth, like what size shoes the Mashiach would have worn, what clothes he would have worn, all of that stuff. Look at this. Paul and Theokilia, 5th to the 6th century, wall painting in the cave of Paul and Thelka on the northern slope of Bubal Dag Mountain, south of Ephesus, right? And look at this. Paul has a bald head. This dude is bald headed. He's bald-headed.
Telling images from a Jewish synagogue in Syria. They were painted in the 3rd century, less than 200 years from the time of Jesus. They're the earliest pictures of Jewish people in the world, and fashions back then changed slowly.
The kind of hairstyle that you get, it's short, it's curly, it's, if you like, afro in style, and this seems to be almost uniform in the way that Jesus is depicted there. It's unlikely that Jesus' skin tones were white in the traditional, as you get it in much of the traditional art, as you get it in Hollywood Jesus.
All right. Peace and shalom. About to upload part 2.